Alright guys, I'm just looking for some feedback. This would be one of the angles that I would be doing. This would be the stove. Probably wouldn't hear my voice during this, you'd just kind of see me stirring and cooking things. But I am going to kind of talk through what I'm doing. Tonight I'm making tacos. I'm going to be very Italian with my hands since you can't see my face. I'm just going to kind of show you how I like to do it and explain through the process. I'm utilizing this video to analyze lighting, angles, sound, kind of everything. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of olive oil, half a cup of white onion. You can use yellow onion if you'd like. Now, anytime you're making anything, you need to season in layers. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Just a good pinch, right? Some fresh black pepper. Don't get the stuff that's already in a bottle. Get the grinder. I personally hate crunchy onions. It's just not my thing. For me, I like them caramelized. So I've got this on like a low, medium heat. And I can get more light. So obviously we're going to analyze this and just want your honest feedback and tell me what you think of the shot. And this will just obviously be, again, one of the angles that I would be working. I'll just go over my mise en place. I've got Angus beef, 20% fat. Okay. I've got fresh cilantro. Usually I would use a little bit of lime juice, or I might use tomato paste and beer. Just kind of depends on the mood I'm in, but today we're just going to go straight. And then this is a little bit different. I've got one serrano chili, seeds in, and a good clove of garlic. And some might find this a little bit crazy, but I like to, once I get my ground beef all in and the fats starts to congeal, I add my chili powder and a little bit of cheese inside the beef. And then that's the time when I'd add a little bit of broth or beer. And then I just kind of reduce that back down. So this is going to be a long process because some of this stuff obviously would be edited out, but I just really want to take a look at things. So we're going to kind of let that go. You know, we might do a little flipping and some flopping and trying to, I'm used to being watched, but not particularly having a camera with lighting on my face, and it's definitely different. I'm trying to keep as clean as I can. I am waiting until these onions are basically brown and soft and beautiful like I prefer them. If you like them crunchy, now would be the time to add your peppers and garlic. The reason why you're not adding your peppers and garlic when you add your onions is because you don't want that garlic to overcook and get too dark. It'll get really bitter. Roasted garlic is sweet, raw garlic is spicy, okay, and burnt garlic is bitter. So you don't want the burnt garlic. So a lot of times at this point I'm going to add a little bit of butter. And we're going to call that a tablespoon of butter. If you prefer margarine, or that's what you have, it'll work as well. And again, I can't wait till they create that smell-o-vision, because onions and butter, a little bit of olive oil, some salt and pepper. It just smells so good. So if you're still watching the video, you must be really bored. But again, these are things where I'm going to cut in, and obviously these things are going to be cut out and not used as much and edited out. for when I fumble my words like that. Things don't make sense. But I'm really just trying to concentrate and get some honest feedback on the lighting, the sound, the angles. Yes, I'm not in the camera, but I think during this point, I'm just going to be cooking and hanging out and, you know, walking back and forth and then doing a voice-over during this time. So you would hear everything that I'm saying, but you wouldn't be seeing my Italian hands going. Okay, so now my onions are kind of softened up. Again, I should just be using my angles and not move the pan. Let's see if I can zoom in here. This thing's got a pretty good picture, autofocus. Now I'm going to add my peppers and garlic. Obviously, if you do not want it spicy, but you still want to use that pepper flavor, you can use bell peppers here. Or if you like a little bit of spice, take the seeds out. You can also use jalapenos. And it's really strong right now. So, okay, I didn't season there because it's not necessary. All that butter, all that salt from the onions is going to do fine. But when I'm going to add my beef, you're going to see me kind of crumble that up, and that's because I don't want to spend all day chopping my ground beef up. And I want to kind of hurry because I also don't want my garlic to overcook. Okay, if you want to take it off the heat and kind of add your ground beef so you can protect your garlic, that's perfectly fine. You'll also notice that I'm going very even in the pan, and there's a specific reason for that. Because when I season this, okay, sanitize my hands here. I want to season evenly, and you're going to kind of see that. I'll zoom in just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to season evenly. Now you see how much salt I'm putting on that. That's really what it takes to have a well-seasoned dish. Okay. Now I can spend a little bit of time mixing things around. And don't forget the pepper, okay? We can go pepper in layers. Again, it's optional. I don't mind. I like that fresh ground pepper taste. And you can really see that we are gaining a really nice looking taco filling here. It's going to be quite delicious. Now at this point in time, I'm going to add my chili powder. Okay? So I'm going to go kind of heavy on it. I'm going to go about 1.5 tablespoons. Okay, maybe even 2 tablespoons there. See how much that is right there? Sorry for the jittering here. Okay. So quite a bit. At this point in time, I'm going to wait until my beef is ground up. I'm going to crank my heat here, okay, because I want to try to achieve just a little bit of color on my beef. My garlic is all stuck to the ground beef. It's going to be just fine at this point in time. So we're going to really crank up the heat here and go a little bit hotter to try to get a little bit of color on that ground beef. At that point in time, I'll add my chicken stock. If you have beer, beer is a great broth. Trying to stay clean here. And another thing that people will do is strain off the fat. I kind of use that to melt the cheese and create that thick, yummy, delicious taco filling that I like. Again, if you're on a diet, first of all, don't go with 20% fat. Go with a 5% or a 10% or 15%, and you won't have the issues with so much fat. And or just use 20% and drain it off, whatever you prefer. Several options. And that's what I love about cooking. It's an old saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? So as you can see here, I'm starting to achieve some really nice color. I'm going to bring it in here. I'm going to try to not do that. I'm getting used to my tripod here, guys. I apologize. Alright, so let's zoom in and get that sexiness. Okay, we're getting some great smells and flavors. Beautiful. Now I know, it's crazy. Here's my broth. Here's my cheese. Okay. Beautiful. Now we've got this yummy, delicious sauce. Now, okay, once it's boiled, we've got a little bit of color on the beef. Okay, it's not so gray and dull. We've got a lot of flavor here. So we can calm it down and take it down to a medium-low heat, okay? Yeah, now, you know, all those things, just keep in mind, all those times I'm messing with my camera, you know, the editing guy is going to take care of me. I'm just trying to get the best picture for you guys. Again, I wish you could smell it. Now, you've noticed, if I still have my fresh cilantro, okay? Now, I rough chop this. If you want to go all crazy and spend an hour mincing it, whatever, I rough chop it. Also knowing, don't try, if you're going to use a stainless steel pan, you got to continuously stir this. I'm using a non-stick pan, so I don't have to worry as much because we added cheese, right? And if cheese gets stuck to the bottom of the pan, you're going to have a mess. So make sure that whatever pan you have, you're working the correct way here. But I'm going to reduce this down, and I'm going to kind of let you guys enjoy the bubbling fun of that. I'm noticing that I've got a really solid line of outside light, but you know, it's not perfect. It's okay. Another thing you might notice in the background is my dog's prancing around. I have nothing but tile and hardwood floors, so gonna have to figure out how to get all that edited out because she's a dog, and yes, I can go tell her to lay down, but in reality she wants to be where Dad is, right? So the same type of humor that I have there is the same type of humor I'll try to bring to the show. I want you guys to laugh and chuckle and enjoy yourselves. Now, the only one thing that I would say is that you need to make sure you always try stuff. And I want to know where I'm at right now. I'm curious. How good is this? Does it need salt? You know, does it need more chili powder? Am I getting enough garlic? You know, just so I'm going to get in there, and you won't be able to see me, but I'll try to give you a reaction. It's really, really good. Very tasty. Nice, proper amount of heat. I'm finding that obviously I'm not eating the serrano chili straight up, but it's got some heat. So again, as explained earlier, there are ways we can take that out. And we're still reducing, as long as we're still bubbling, we're still kind of creating that. And we're going to take this down until where it's a nice, thick, beautiful sauce. Okay, so the last thing that I like to do, and this is optional, this is just my opinion, I like it thick and creamy and delicious, is I'm going to put a little bit of cornstarch in here, okay? And this is just going to help kind of bind this and thicken it. A lot of you guys probably have worked with cornstarch, okay? It's a thickening agent, and as you can see already, and it's not going to really affect the flavor of your food. You know, we're going to cook this for another 5 minutes or so, but do make sure that you don't just add cornstarch and then take it off, because then you are going to taste it, okay? But you see how, let me see if I can get in on this right here. See how thick and wonderful that looks, right? Okay. Again, fat can go or stay. I like it to stay. Doc says cholesterol's still good, so I'm kind of rolling with it. I do try to drink a ton of water to balance these things out. So far that's working for me, so I'm keeping the fat. All right, guys. Well, at this point, the last step, bazinga, baby. Popping in some fresh cilantro. I would have probably liked to have hit some lime, but honestly, I forgot it at the store. So, and that's it, guys. There is my taco meat. Thank you for joining me.